Welcome back to FPL Banter podcast. Got myself, Mopey. We're here with Woody.
Hello.
And Swabbers.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, and Woody's agreed to apologize on several different Firstly, for being late, which is why we're doing it so...
Yeah, well, hold on. Well, no. Alex also needs to apologize. He's the reason we're massively late.
What?
I'm the reason we're slightly late.
How am I massively late? Because my screen cracked on my laptop.
Because of your laptop. We could, that's still your fault. I mean, it's an accident, but it's still your fault.
What do you mean? I was ready to go. I was ready to go this morning.
Were you ready to go yesterday?
Huh?
Were you ready to go yesterday?
Yeah, but Eric was flying yesterday.
Okay.
Woody,
all right, so it's both of your fault.
I think you're confused. I wasn't going to say that this is why you had to apologize. Your apology should be about benching Vestergaard. I am livid.
Yeah. Well, if I say, firstly, I apologize for being a bit late, but I got my COVID vaccine today, so that's why. And secondly, I apologize for not including Vestergaard, Ward-Prowse, Fernandez, and insisting on Mason Mount. Those are my sins, and I confess to all of them. Oh, and Trent. Trent was me as well.
Yeah, can we get off that train now? TAA train.
Oh, done. He's done.
We'll get rid of TAA. Use the funds to get Aguero in. Done.
Not Aguero.
Yeah.
Not Aguero. Please.
Right,
I don't know. He's gone. He's done. Anyway,
you've got to get back on that train at some point.
Yeah. Today it's going to be a short pod. Just because on the off chance that someone hasn't done their transfers, then this could be useful. So hopefully, because we're banging it out 4 hours before the game week starts, essentially. We're going to have to be a little bit condensed. But anyway, looking at our points, atrocious. 65 points with an average of 60.
It should be still above average. Still above average.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, club. Honestly, yeah, this week we would have done if you hadn't listened to me. So
I don't like how honest he is. What's that thing done to you, mate?
Because he doesn't mind, because in our private league he's done quite well. He's up to second now, aren't you, Woody?
I am, yeah. I've looked the last 4 weeks. I've had 97, 81, 84, and 86. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Classic snake tactic, sabotaging the FPL Banter team while he gets all the points out.
Yeah, now I'm ahead of the FPL Banter team. Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Right.
Well, anyway, we just played Ederson, which was horrendous, given that he got 4 points. And on the bench, we had Meslier with 9 points. What's that about?
Yeah. What is that about?
What's it about? And then, another thing, Tierney. How many times do I have to tell you? No Arsenal defense.
I'm starting to come around to your way of thinking.
Yeah. However, this week they're playing Spurs, which could be an explosive game. So, I'd be open to suggestions. But anyway, Trent, horrendous. Reguilon, bit disappointed. I do think he's a good player. So that was a bit disappointing. What do we think of Lingers?
Well, he can't play this week,
great, but he can't play this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like his recent form. I mean, he's...
Oh, yeah. No, he's definitely one. He was the most transferred in last week. And, what did he get? 5 points? So it's not a total waste. But...
he missed his penalty, then scored.
Yeah, that's so frustrating to miss the penalty and score.
So he loses his BPs, he gets a -2, and then Meslier, who still conceded 2 goals, gets 9 points.
Don't forget, Lingard also got tackled for the penalty. So, in the real world, he assists his own penalty.
And he assists himself. Yeah, and do you remember the last penalty they had where he got fouled and won the penalty, and then he had a bit of a scuffle with Rice about who was taking the penalty, and then Rice took it.
Yeah. True.
Apparently that sort of happened again in this game, but Rice was like, all right, you can have this one. And then he nearly went and missed it.
Rice was like, I told you, and then Lingard scored after the save. He's like, oh, okay, fair enough.
But still.
Mason Mount, Woody, what's your excuse?
Well, he got rested. The Tuchel tombola caught me out.
I'm with Woody. I'm with Woody on this. I do think Mount is a good player, and I'm considering him for my personal team when I hit my wild cards. But it's just unfortunate that he was rested. It's just
Yeah, and then Kai Havertz comes in his place and gets 2 assists. That could have been Mount. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. So are you going to suddenly get on the Kai Havertz train? Of course you're not, because he's going to be back in.
Yeah. KDB, well, doesn't need any explanation. Gundo did all right as well. Son, bit of an assist. I've noticed a lot of people are dropping Son or else not bringing him in. I was kind of wondering if something had happened to him, but he seems fine, and he's maybe had a little bit of a dip. But this doesn't call for anything drastic, does it?
No. It's just that
I think Kane is
how
just
reacty people get, and it's like, oh, Kane got some goals, I'm going to get him. And Bale's had a couple of holes, and so Son,
he's the most transferred in, I think. Bale.
Yeah, so Son just falls out of the window, but it doesn't mean. But there will be this week where he comes up with a hat trick, and then I was like, oh, I should have kept him.
Yeah, and that's why I was speaking to Eric before that we recorded before you arrived, Woody, before you were late.
Before I turned up eventually.
Was I think the biggest mistake I made this season was to get rid of Son and Kane at some point when I really shouldn't have, especially towards the beginning when I got rid, and Eric was the only one that kept him. And he scored.
And then he scored 4 goals.
Yeah, exactly.
So Woody, you're gonna like this. I've got a theory about what Alex is saying. Basically, remember, because going back to that Son thing, Son was supposed to be injured, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you think it's possible that Mourinho is like to his coach, he's like, "Hey, get the ice pack, put it on Kane's knee."
You know what? It would not surprise me if the whole thing was an elaborate show. It would not surprise me because it's not like he was limping. And it was right at the end of the game, and he just walks off, and they're like, "Yeah, stick some ice on."
Yeah,
for the cameras. But remember when they did that for Mane as well? And Lema was taking the pictures of the ice on Mane's knee, and they played 90 in the next game.
Yeah, no, exactly. I wouldn't be too worried. I mean, he is yellow, but I had. So here's one dilemma. I guess we still need to talk about our team, but very brief highlight. I put a captain armband on him on Kane, but now I've switched it to Fernandez because of the fact that he's yellow. Do you think I should keep it?
Hey, Mourinho has got you right where he wants you.
Yeah, you are right through the day, and you have not learned your lesson from earlier in the season.
Hey, Mourinho is mugging you right off. Oh,
honestly.
Other games? Any other highlights? Any other highlights?
But I'm just going to say this is the latest that I've got. Harry, I don't believe is anything big. Sunday is a match everyone wants to play, and little things will not stop him.
Yeah,
I don't have the feeling it is anything serious. Which actually, no, Mourinho means it probably is serious, and he's not playing.
Oh my God, the double bluff.
Yeah, and then no one prepares for Vinicius, and then he comes on and just like mugs them all off.
Interesting. Maybe.
Tell you what though, just thinking that through. If Kane is injured, Sonny Boy might be up front, so that might actually make him even more tasty.
True. Right. Well, look. Why don't we lead on to our team of the week? That would be a good way in. So
we don't want to talk about any other events of last week. Was there anything that caught your eye?
Well, the fact that you're so late.
Surprise results.
The main thing that caught my eye. So. In the interest of time,
what do we think of Fulham?
I think Fulham are back.
What
against City?
I think City is going to be difficult though, but
they might get a goal.
Yeah, I mean City. That's one thing that I feel a little bit worried about. If I had a City defender, was the fact that they are being a little bit leaky, especially considering their high standards. You know,
they're
being leaky. And also, their fullbacks are not exactly getting on the attacking points board either.
Yeah, Cancelo has been disappointing.
Cancelo has been very flat for a long time.
So could this be a week that you downgrade? Because I'm presuming that most people have 3 City players. Could this be a week that you switch one of them out? Maybe a defender, maybe Cancelo, change him for
if you had a player that played during the week, yes. But as it happens, in my personal team, I have Stones and Cancelo. So they didn't play during the week, so getting rid of them now, I just feel like they will play. You know,
yeah.
All depends.
And it is likely to be more likely to be a cleanie against Fulham.
Yeah.
What do we reckon about the West Ham United game? 2 teams, mixed form, but
that's a good question, actually. Yeah, I reckon that could be scory on both sides. So,
and I seem to recall West Ham do well at Old Trafford.
They do well everywhere, don't they, nowadays?
Well, yeah, that's true. But I don't know. It's like, I've got that feeling they'll rock up and it'll be like 3-1 West Ham. I mean, Fernandez will still get a goal and 3 BPs, but...
Oh, naturally. Could be. I wouldn't write West Ham off at all. I was thinking...
I think Antonio, certainly. Like, Antonio is definitely...
Well, the issue with Antonio is that we all know his fitness isn't really up to scratch, so... it could be one of those things where he just doesn't even play.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about this like over for the rest of the season. Like, I like Antonio. He's aggressive. He's a focal point, and I'm thinking like him versus Watkins. Like Antonio, when he plays, I think is more likely to get points, but he misses so much of the matches through resting and injuries and stuff. Whereas Watkins, he just plays 90 all the time.
Yeah.
So you know, in pure exposure to the ball, he's probably just more likely to get points just because he plays all the time.
But do you guys not think that maybe the fact that Lingard won't be playing is detrimental to the success of West Ham United against United?
But it could mean the rebirth of Souček.
Well, don't forget, West Ham were already in very good form and playing very well before Lingard rocked up, and he's just sort of boosted that. You know, Fornals, Bowen, Lanzini, Benrahma, you know, they've still got good players in those positions that have been playing well. So I don't think it'll be missed too much.
Well, I was just looking at Antonio's stats there, and I mean, he has not hauled in about. Well, he's one of these. Really. Yeah, he's one of these reliable one goal scorers, but I don't know. Yeah. Maybe not that punty anymore. Just sixes and sevens kind of across the board, and then just rested every now and again. So I don't know.
It's very similar to Watkins, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, we have got a little bit of a surprise in our team. Maybe it's a surprise. I don't know. So yeah, our team of the week, which is 100 million team. You can get it on a wildcard. So this week, why don't we start with the forwards? Ooh, you like that?
Why don't we start with our starting 11 rather than our transfers?
Say that again.
So actually, you've got the entire team showing, rather than our actual starting 11.
Okay. So good point. Well, okay, we'll start at the front and we'll work our way back. All right. So who wants to take the strikers?
Oh, we're going the other way, are we?
Yeah.
Good God, everyone will switch off after the first time out. All right, I'll take the strikers.
Okay.
So obviously, I would say it's the obvious choice, and he's probably one of the most transferred in players this week, is Harry Kane. But as we were just mentioning, you know, he's got the yellow. So what is he, 75% with a knock? So it's whether you believe the Mourinho tactics or not, but we're going with him anyway. Captain or not, we'll come to that later. So we've got Kane leading the line. And as we've just been talking about, Watkins, who is he's always there. He's ever present. Grealish, I think, is still out. So there's a chance he'll be on Penos if El Ghazi's not playing. And it's Newcastle, who are just nowhere to be seen right now. So I think it's pretty good odds for him to get something. He's dual haul. And then Eric's little surprise number, which I think he's smugly very proud of, and thought that we were going to veto him, but actually can entirely agree with him, is Kelechi Iheanacho, who at 5.6 million is a steal, very affordable for your third striker. They're playing Sheffield United at home, so that's got goals already written all over it. And since with the absence of Maddison and now Barnes, and particularly Maddison, Brendan Rodgers tends to play two up front, or at least Iheanacho slightly behind Vardy. So with Barnes and Maddison out, he's almost guaranteed to start and get at least 60 minutes. And he's got 9 points, 2 games in a row. And he's in a bit of form. Scored a hell of a goal in the last game, the overhead, the volley over the shoulder. So he's a striker on the up. So it's punty, definitely, and I think it's a good opportunity for points.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Onto the midfield. I've got someone else I'm very proud of to introduce, James Ward-Prowse, who we tried to bring in last week, and Woody denied us 18 points. But anyway, we've got a guy who is very good.
And can I just say something to that as well? I don't know what I was smoking last week, because I'm always a big proponent of the double game week. Like if someone's got a double game week, just put them in anyway. That just increases the odds of scoring. So I don't know why I was so against him in Vestergaard. I don't know what.
It's basically our fault. It's our fault, isn't it? Really, for not pushing him. That's what you're going to say.
Exactly.
Next.
Yeah, we should have done more.
Yeah. So really, I'm blameless.
So we've got JWP, which is good because he's on free kicks, he's on corners, he drives the bus, he does everything. So basically, yeah, we're happy with that. Then Fernandez, another guy Woody wanted to get rid of last week. Thanks, mate.
It's all right. You're welcome.
He's
10
back,
points
baby.
You don't need.
he during the week he was all over it. He threw in a cheeky assist for Diallo, and yeah, I think was it Woody or Alex who said he's due a penalty? I mean, it's only been a week that he hasn't scored one, so
yeah, they're definitely due one.
He needs one, and then you know what it's like once he steps up for that penalty, the fancy team have already assigned the 3 BPs. So yeah, very confident.
And the funny thing about penalties, so he got that penalty against City after 33 seconds, I think it was. Not their fastest penalty this season. No. 29 seconds. Really? 29 seconds against Spurs in their 6-1 defeat.
Oh. But quick question though about that is United going to be a different force this weekend? Because I mean, who the hell they got up front?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Cavani's out, Martial's out, so it looks like Greenwood.
Rashford's
out, why the scout. I think Rashford's okay, isn't he?
Well, he has been out. Whether he's back or not, good question.
No, Rashford is amber. He said ankle injury.
I mean, I haven't seen the latest pressies though. What did? Hold on, let me do a little digging while you keep waffling.
Okay, we'll continue. Right, so Fernandez, and then onto KDB. I mean, it's a pretty obvious one, isn't it? Everyone's got him except me, so I think KDB is definitely a good shout. You can't go wrong with that. And then, last but not least, on the pitch at least, Son, who seems to have been overlooked this week, but we're still confident. A bit of Sonny action. And on the bench, we got Jorginho, who is our reserve penalty taker, and he just seems to show up sporadically, and he's also 4.9, which helps. So 4.7, I should say. So yeah, I think that's a pretty solid mid, actually.
Okay, and now I'll take you through the defense. So we'll start off with Konza playing Newcastle. Villa are playing Newcastle, so that's not Konza and Martinez. I'll just do those kind of bunched together, save time because we're running short. Martinez, Villa against Newcastle, Konza as well, obviously against Newcastle. Really not showing up. Don't think Joe Linton's going to show up. Probably not. So yeah, that's the defense there. Then we've got Castagna. I think that's one of Woody's favorites as well. My boy Castagna. You're going to say if he scores?
He is my boy. Oh, he is my boy.
He is your boy. That is one of your boys. I'll give you that.
Playing Sheffield United again. I mean, they've just, I think just before we recorded this, Wilder's stepped down from Sheffield United.
Oh, yeah. He stepped down rather than...
This is what I said, Woody. Exactly the same thing.
No one ever steps down.
No,
it's weird. It's weird. The way that the BBC are reporting it is more about the fact that it's just Wilder to leave Blades. I don't really know what that means. I don't know. That sounds more like he's stepping down than anything else, right?
But how does he still have a job, that guy? I mean, it's unbelievable how bad they are this season. And for some reason, everyone's like, great manager. And I was saying to Alex, there's a lot of great managers in the past who got fired, even though they're third or fourth in the league.
Frank Lampard.
Yeah. Jose Mourinho.
Argentina.
Yeah.
Final of the Champions League. Get out, mate.
Louis Avram Grant. Remember he got to the final Champions League? Done.
Avram Grant. Wow, that's a blast from the past.
You remember that? I remember that. To be fair, it seems to be Chelsea. Di Matteo. Didn't he win the Champions League and still lost his job?
He was a caretaker, to be fair.
But still, you win the Champions League. Yeah, not good enough, mate. Get out.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, what more can I do?
All right, and then we have Stones against Fulham. He was rested during the week, so he will most likely start, even though we have pointed out that Manchester City can be quite leaky, I think, against Fulham, because they tend to not really show up, not really score goals. Fulham, they're not much of a goal threat, so that should be an easy cleanie. But our strategy, as you would have noticed, as opposed to probably a couple of months ago, is more focused on defense that are more... we're relying on cleanies rather than assists now, right?
From this lot, well, not from Castagna. Oh, my boy, I tell you, he's gonna get a double point haul this week.
Well, he hasn't. The thing is that he hasn't really done any assists recently, right? He hasn't scored any assists. He's been
it's
injured.
Not about that. It's not about exactly. He's been injured. He's come back. Leicester have had a bit of a dip in form, but he's still getting forward. Like, the amount of big chances created, they're still up there. They're just not going in. Trust me, mate.
With that in mind, Alex, would you want to chuck on a bit of Shaw in that case?
No. I think it makes sense. It just means that the strategy is changing. I think it's becoming clearer which teams have problems in front of goal, which makes it easier for you to choose defenders, right? I mean, Newcastle, Sheffield United, and Fulham all have trouble scoring goals, so that I'm just pointing that out for anyone who's thinking about that, because I think that's a smart strategy. Our other two on the bench are playing against, which I'll mention now. We've got on the bench, we've got Shaw and Rudiger. Shaw is playing West Ham, who can score, and Rudiger is playing against Leeds, who can also score. So
Although I do see Chelsea keeping it clean against Leeds.
They could do. But that was another question that I wanted to bring up. That was another question. What's the story with Bamford? Bamford hasn't really shown up, and in some games you can just see that he's just not into it. Whatever he tries, it just seems to just go wrong for him.
But I mean, like I said in our chat with the lads, he was disallowed one against West Ham by literally millimeters. They were doing a Rafinha assist and a Bamford goal, and everybody were they've still got it. Just that one extra game. They're like, oh, maybe he's lost it.
Yeah, Woodson creating chances. Yeah, I agree.
He's like done.
I thought exactly the same thing. I saw that and I thought to myself that would change everything, but it didn't.
Yeah. But I think it's when people just look at the results of the game and they're like, oh, he's done. He hasn't done anything. It's like, yeah, but did you actually watch the game? The chances he created, how well he played, and that's what you got to look at. And particularly with the blank game week coming up, with Leeds playing Fulham, to get rid now of Rafinha or Dallas or Bamford, it's just a bit irresponsible.
Right. Well, shall we move on to our captain choice?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, please. Definitely.
Okay. So what are we thinking? Any punts?
I mean, I think the obvious one would be De Bruyne, Kane, Fernandes.
Which, when you read the scout and you look at like what the experts are doing, like De Bruyne's name's hardly mentioned. It's like all about Fernandes, Kane, and like a guy's like, oh, I'm going to go a bit crazy and go with Mount. It's like, all right, why is no one talking about KDB? He got 14 points.
Yeah,
he's basically playing as the striker.
It's not a bad shout at all. I would say
he's got the easiest fixture.
It's not so much that. I just think Kane against Arsenal, he's just got a track record of scoring against them. I think that's
but that's why I had him. That's why I got
him
all right. Captain.
But the thing is, so he's got a track record of scoring, so he gets 1 goal, which is 4 points, 2 for playing, so he gets 6. Maybe a cheeky BP. But I don't know. It just seems like he's not. I can't see him banging in a hattie. You actually will now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he got 12 against Arsenal earlier in the season. I just think it's because these teams really dislike each other and they make it into a huge deal. That I think because it's a derby, So I was saying to Alex, I think it's one of these games that can go either way. It can go 4-4 or 0-0, depending on if they're both sort of being careful or if they go for it. So I don't know. I don't know which team's going to show up, but one thing's for sure: Fernandes will get a penalty. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if like United, they've lost a lot of their attacking prowess due to injury. So I can see West Ham taking that game.
Yeah, no, it's true, and they're playing at home, and United aren't very good at home, so that's not great.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could go punty, we could go Iheanacho. You know what I mean?
Stop it. We don't need that kind of chat right here. Yeah,
crikey.
All right, you guys just watch. You guys just watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't forget the time we did that with Aguero. You got 1 point, wasn't it?
Should we give Alex the captaincy choice, given that we got that Aguero one? I think it's a fair point.
I mean, I do like the idea of a punty one because the obvious ones all seem too obvious, and they could all just be a bit meh. Whereas like. Even like Stones, I think that's a pretty good cleanie. Castagna, Iheanacho, yeah.
What about Martinez?
I mean, Martinez, he's always in line for some BPs, isn't he?
He loves the BP, yeah.
But he won't be facing any shots. That's the problem against Newcastle.
What happens when Villa play United and it's Martinez versus Fernandes? Does the bonus point system just explode then?
They start getting extra fantasy bonus points.
Yeah. It was the fantasy save.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because if players from opposing teams get the same amount of points, they share them, right? So that everybody just gets 3. There'll just be like 11 people with 3 bonus points.
Okay, right. All right. Alex, what's the decision?
I think I'm going to go Kane.
Okay. Are we happy with that, Woody?
I can see the rationale behind it, so I'm happy to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can go get behind that.
But then who's the vicey in case he is injured?
Stones, apparently.
Should we do it in the Acho, Vice?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, do it. And then it's punty, but it's not crazy.
And I feel like if he is injured, we'll be like, we're gonna go for we're gonna like back Iniacho 100%. You know, I'll actually watch the game. So, yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay.
It's nice to do an outlier every now and then.
Exactly. I don't think there's much point going into who we should factor in at this point because everyone's done their transfers. For sure, we can mention a couple. Bale has been massively transferred in for some reason.
You know what? Why don't we just discuss the fact that next week is a blank, and one good thing you could do is transfer someone that will probably get a fixture next week.
Yeah. Who's your top pick for one in for the blank?
I mean,
who have you got to go for?
I mean, they're the obvious ones. There's, Kane, Son, and Reguilon and Bale potentially as options for Spurs.
One that's a little bit out there is a bit of Brighton defense, maybe a bit of Dunk, because they're playing.
I don't think it's out there. I think you've got to have it. I think if you're playing a free hit or a wild card or something, then get 3 Brighton defenders because it doesn't look like Wilson's going to be back, or Almiron, or San Maximan. So it's, you know what I mean. And there's something going on with Fraser at the moment as well. So
I think a cheeky Dallas as well. A Jack Dallas, against Leeds against Fulham. Dallas could work. You can get some Leeds.
Get a couple of Leeds, get a couple of Brighton in the D. Any of your Spurs guys, Aubameyang.
That's what I was going to say. Obs could be an option if you want.
A bit of Lingers, not this week obviously, but next week could be.
Yeah.
All good shouts.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, look, we'll aim to get the pod out a little bit earlier for next week. The next exciting blank game week. There'll be loads to talk about. So we're looking forward to that. And until then, have a very good game week. And just remember, tonight is the deadline. So if anyone's forgotten that, this is a good reminder.
Yeah.
It's 30 UK.
It's almost like we forgot.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.
See ya.